Greetings and welcome back once again. I did not plan on going outside today, but my mama brought the wrong thing, and I'm that serious about it. It's a beautiful thing. She's like, I read the ingredients, but it was not the right spring roll wrapper. So we are on a mission to get the correct, no additive, no preservative spring roll wrapper. So that's what this is about. So I said, hey, why not? I'm actually going to do a study. I haven't had time to do that because all day just tidying up and doing all kind of stuff. So I'm going to do the study on, for the Shabbat, I'm going to do the study on the sins, revisiting the children. And it's written in Exodus. And then there's a conversation in Jeremiah and a conversation in Ezekiel. So I'm going to cross-reference those and look at, study it. I've read it many times, but actually giving it more time than just reading it and really studying what's going on in light of what we're reading. And it didn't start with you. So stay tuned for that. I thought I was going to be able to do that today, but it didn't happen. For right now, I want to talk about Black Friday. For those who are out and about, have you noticed, right, that this day, today, after mass consumption day, right, Thanksgiving, you have Black Friday. And Black Friday, this is one of the only times as I was driving and thinking that using the term black in front of it doesn't denote something negative. Has anybody noticed that? In front of Friday, in this instance, does not denote something negative. For the stores, the story is that many stores operate for the first, 3 quarters of the year in a deficit. But after this point, because here comes Xmas, they begin to operate in the black. And so hence the term Black Friday. I know there's some circulating information about melanated people were sold on this day. And according to my studies, what I've sold thus far, and I've shared some stuff on the channel, they were sold generally anytime. But one time that they were massively sold were doing New Year's. So New Year's Day is actually the day where many either were hired out, like for instance, the slave master may own you or your relatives, but they can choose to hire you out if they don't have any work for you. So looking at, I think we're kind of a little bit disconnected from the experience during slavery, and because the landscape looks so different now. I know I haven't talked about slavery in a while, right? The landscape looks so different now. We're a little bit disconnected from understanding that it was home-based is the easiest way I can explain it. Home-based businesses. Because in the beginning, there wasn't huge. So where you will go in a corporation today, those corporations were represented on the plantation. This is why in this day and time, many people say, yo, I'm about to go to the plantation. Like that was real. So the corporation, the bigger the plantation, the bigger the corporation. But because it was at the home of the owner, then it was a home-based business with a corporation feel. Now, some corporations were thriving at one point or another, these home-based businesses, these masters, right? But when those masters, like today, in this space and time, when they start to go out of business, like the other day I put up, Payless, JCPenney, all of these stores that are closing, when these masters or these corporations start to go out of business, they began to liquidate their assets. And I think to a certain, and because the weird part of trying to understand it is that human beings were these assets. What they considered, you took insurance out on their heads, You took insurance out. You can borrow against. You can take mortgages on the head of. It was like that real. So I think sometimes in today's space and time, if you don't really like dig deep into the narrative of slavery, you just look at the human suffering part, you're not really being able to see the picture. So these particular corporations would go out of business. They would go broke. They would go bankrupt. A lot of them was a debt-based business like it is today. Nothing has changed. So people would have gone into debt to acquire what today, people would say today, oh, you need to have a jet if you are a high class pastor, or you need to have this amount of operating system, and this things that you need to run your business. Then what you needed to run your business or your plantation, which was your agricultural business, were bodies. And so they went into debt to be able to get monies, many of them, to acquire these bodies. So when their business went down, with the same reason businesses go down today, because you could have been in cotton, you could have been in tobacco, let's say, and now tobacco is not really moving like it used to, and now the new cash crop is cotton, right? But you don't have the land for cotton. We don't have to, but for me, it was very helpful to understand what was really happening. You don't have the land for cotton, and you depleted the resources on this eastern seaboard because nothing was going, you used it too many times and didn't give the land rest, so you sucked out all the nutrients, and now your crop is inferior. Okay, your crop is inferior. That means when you go to market, you cannot recoup what it is that you spent for the crop, and now you start operating at a deficit. Next thing you know, the other loan shark people come to the slave master and it's like, yo, pony up. Slave master's like, I don't got nothing, but I got Jim. Next thing you know, he sells Jim. On the melanated side, you're like, whoa, you sold Jim. On his side, he's like, I just liquidated my assets. If you can understand what I'm saying. So I was saying that to say, because some people are like, oh, it happened on Black Friday, which is today. But again, a lot of the narratives speak about Christmas time. What's up? Because I'm on the way to the store. I was like, might as well talk to y'all while I'm on the way to the store here, real quick, to get these spring roll wrappers. But yeah, so it was more around Christmas time, where many people knew that after Christmas, this is why when you look at when a lot of slaves planned to run away, it was during the Christmas season, because people were on break, people were entertaining guests, and they had more time to slip away. That's facts. And New Year's is when a lot of the consternation came in, where people knew that their families will be getting broke up, this, that, and the third. So when you see, like, even in the narrative of Roots, and I know people don't, I'm looking at Roots is fictional. Listen to what I'm saying. When you have some slave master who's saying, I will always keep the family together, the dynamic is the economy, like I said, what's going to happen to all these people's jobs? But these were people living together because they were family at the work. So you used to work with your family. So that's the dynamic that's very different from today's space and time, where you go out to a job, it's just some co-workers, you go back home to your house. So back to Black Friday. Black Friday is about economics, and when the majority of businesses are now operating at a profit as opposed to operating at as a deficit. And so they pump, and Cyber Monday, they can, meet their quota, or and after a while the bottom is gonna drop out. Because even look at some of these electronics, I remember when I had old electronics, and I'm looking at where I could responsibly recycle these electronics. There was only one place here in the entire of all of here that responsibly recycles electronics. Every year you say, oh, I need a new whatever it is, I need a new TV. Oh, you got on the Walmart, got the TV on the arm. What are you going to do with all the TV that you got? You can dump it on, oh, I need a new computer, I need a new cell phone. You just bought that cell phone last year, you need a new cell phone this year. I can see if the cell phone broke or whatever the case may be. And so the thought is, keep producing. This is what they do, because I need you to keep consuming. So many people would say back in the day, they used to make things to last. Now they make things to break. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you make vehicles to last. Now they make, like, if you had an old school Toyota, boy, you be falling that, driving that thing to the wheels fall off. They say Toyota is a good car. And so it's about money, 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 mass consumption. Gimme, 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 gimme. Keep bringing the comments because I can't see them now. I'm driving responsibly. So I'm going to come look at it when I stop. But when we are in that energy of the gimme, 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 I gotta, what happens is we are easily manipulated, right? Because we're not in control. If we're always wanting something, basically there'll never be an end of wanting. There's always going to be something that we want. There has to be, we the people have to govern ourselves and put a cap on all of the things that we think we want, because they say, hey, I got a new shiny one. This is 10.0. You got that 7. And you know why we go for the 10? Not me, because they ain't catching me with that food. I'll be like, y'all all right. But many people go for the 10 when the 7 is perfectly fine, because of social pressures and because of wanting to be accepted and seen as having some level of status. Because, yo, so you got that new joint, or you got that new iPhone, or you got that new Galaxy. Ah, man. So because we want to be accepted in society as having funds and being cool and being trendy, then we go out for the things that we know, not even that you don't need, because some people could afford it. They'd be like, I could afford it, but you really don't need it. And the next thing you know is collecting dust. The next thing you know is taking up space. There was a lady I saw, I think it was what's the lady, I saw it in passing. What's the lady from 90210? Spelling. Tori Spelling. So I saw something in passing that she was bankrupt. Okay, right. She used to come on hit 90210 on this thing. The woman is broke. They said the woman needed 13 storage units. So you want us to go around you? Because y'all jokers is driving like y'all over here. What's really going on? This woman had, let me go around. This woman had 13 storage units to collect or to house all of the things that she can no longer afford to have on display. And this is a place where people, they will allow things to trap you and things to consume you, and then things to suck your very life force and still leave you empty. Now, things are nice, right? But at what cost, at what expense? Where if things are valued more here than people, which they are, than lives, like I saw in passing today on the news, that the people who are working at the Amazon facility are making, bringing awareness that they need better working conditions. And so I'm like, I didn't have the time today, but I'm like, ooh, what's going on at the Amazon factories? Although I did hear the people are like, because of the way in which it's set up and the stringent, and you all, like they got to get it, if you're a prime customer, that they run a very, very, very tight ship. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah. So how you guys doing today? So, it's one thing for us to say something. I see a lot of our history now being like in the meme space, and it's just being recycled from year to year to year. And I'm like, okay, can we get a source on that? Can we get a reference to where you got that from? You know what I mean? So yeah, some people will say Black Friday, man, since you tripping, that's when you get the deals. Oh, do what you have to do. You know what I mean? Do what you have to do. But the question is, you getting a deal because you need it? You know what I mean? Or you just getting it because it's there. Like, oh, it's there, I have to have it. It's like eating. Now, am I eating because I need it? Or am I eating because it's there and I have to have it because it's just looking at me? You know what I mean? Oh, I got to eat that extra piece of pie because it's just staring. And if I do, somebody else is going to eat it. Y'all want to come inside? This is surprising. This store right here always is packed. Always, always, always. Isn't it surprising? The people must be tired. Because look, parking spaces and stuff. Let me find out. The people must be tired. I'm taking you guys inside so we could go get this spring roll wrapper here. Let me see what they're saying first. Oh, can't see y'all. Black Friday shopping. You're funny. It's funny. Google is complaining too. Yep. Good afternoon, everybody. Yep. Not Black Friday shopping, but I am. Yeah, I'll let y'all come with me. Why not? We were talking about. We were talking about. Sorry about that. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Cancel. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so I go out of my way to make sure I get stuff that we're gonna be able to eat. So this is unusual because they always be packed, boy. Always, because they have the prices. I might get some limes, plantanos. This is my Black Friday deals, y'all. I'm about to cop some plantains. 5 for $2. Hold up. Y'all get a shot of the plantanos. There you go. I have to open the bag. I don't know why they make the bag so hard to open sometimes. I don't like that one. That one is too soft. How y'all like your plantains? Do you eat green plantains? Like how they do it sometimes in ripe plantains. What I've been doing lately too, if the plantain is too ripe, I just I bake them. Like you drizzle a little coconut oil and a little cinnamon, and then you slice them, you put them in a baking tray, and then you bake them. Baked plantains. Oh, them plantains are so sticky. 5 for. Like I'm filling up on all the people. I'm like, they're like, yo. Hold up. And I didn't even come for planting. I'm splurging. Hold up, y'all. How you doing? I'm not even gonna get a basket. Let me just get a basket. So, thank you. Go ahead, right? Yo, this is. Let me get to it. On it is Zimmy. This is how we splurge out here in these streets. We gonna ball out on some red onions. Alright. I don't too like that garlic. I'm gonna let y'all know all my little secrets. If I get the garlic, you see when you come to the supermarket, right? And then you look like the garlic. Tell me what's wrong with the garlic. It's 2 for $3, right? In the pack, right? But look what it says, product of China. Anytime you see I don't mess with Chinese garlic because for some reason when you buy it, before you know it and you cut open, it's green inside or it starts sprouting because they be fumigating it before it comes. So I don't buy Chinese garlic. It usually have to be another location. So what did I come for? Don't tell me it's finished. Yep. Oh, here we go. Oh man, the big one is finished. This is the spring wrapper I get because this spring wrapper, but this one is the small one. because the spring wrapper only has flour, water, oil, coconut oil, and salt. That's it. But the big one is finished, so I'm gonna have to get the small one. And she's gonna be like, "Why you get this small one?" Because the big one is finished. Let me buy one more. Alright. So that's the spring roll wrapper. That's the egg-free. If you notice, it's an egg-free spring roll wrapper. I think they got the wonton ones too. I'm sorry, the camera's all over the place, but y'all gotta work with me right now. You see this L16? This is why I rejected what Mom Dukes brought home. That dough conditioner, that L16, as well as the sodium propionate and sodium benzoate. L16, some of it is sourced from here, like human hair. So that L16 is no bueno. So if you buying bread with L16 in there, it's suspect. Anywho, let me see. That's what I really came for. That's what I really came for. Yeah. Look that up. Look at L16, the source of that. See, y'all put me back into mode. This is where I shop, y'all. You see? Dry goods. Because you get way more from dry beans than you do from the canned beans. So just buy the dry beans and then make them. If you have an Instapot or you have a slow cooker, you're good all day. Now, I haven't had yellow split peas in a while. So we're going to do some split pea later in the week. And lentils is always a favorite. It's always a favorite where I come from. Look at this. You have a whole, what's this? 2 pounds of lentils for $2. Okay? And I'm talking about everybody eating. Everybody eating. Alright. Oh, let me see. Yep. So people be like, I can't afford to eat healthy. I'll be like, what? Let me see how you shopping. I used to suggest that I would go and, observe how the person is shopping and all that other stuff, but yeah. I'm good right here. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all another thing to be careful for. All this. You see this? Sazon and your boys and Goya. I can't take too long today, y'all, but I'm gonna just give y'all a reason why. Goya. Oh yeah, I could have Goya. Why not, Amuna? Goya is the bomb. Pollo tropical, right? You turn it on the side. You read the ingredients. Come on, ingredients. Come into focus. Hold on. It's not focusing. Let me just tell you what's in it. Like you said, glutamate, soy protein, dextrin, celery, yeast extract, all that's MSG. So this is why it tastes so-called good and you're addicted to it, because MSG messes with your brain. Okay, so when by seasoning, if it's already made, it just better say only what's in there. I don't want no extracurricular. The breads on the shelves, I love my Jamaican hard oat bread and all that, but they be putting stuff in there so that it can stay on the shelf, right? So you try to shop in the fresh aisle. The babies be spazzing anytime they come and see the fish. You try to shop in the freshest aisle as possible. You know what I mean? And you make your food. Green bananas. Should we do it? Green bananas could go for porridge, or they can go for boiling them and eating them as a starch instead of rice. And you put your vegetables over the green banana. I like making juice out of this one right here. This is one of my favorites to make juice out of. But let me go, y'all. I'm over here making YouTube videos when I'm supposed to be. I have to come back another day. Oh, let me get a piece of pumpkin though. If you're making some soup or some beans, you drop a piece of pumpkin in there. That joint is the bomb. The bomb. Okay? Let me see how much for this now. 88 cents a pumpkin. A pound. Let me just get the pumpkin here. Look, pumpkin, $1.67. Do you like Tony T's? Yeah, stop playing games. You go to your local fresh produce store and you get it in, y'all. My pops have this in the backyard. Who has even eaten Napales? You can eat that. Cut it up, put it in your salad, and then you're good to go. Um, what I said I was making? Well, let me go get some greens. I don't really even mess with mushrooms, bruh. I know some people do, but I'm weird like that. So I'm not like the Dr. Sabi's over the top, but I don't mess with mushrooms. Only because it's a fungus. And there has been some, some back and forth in the community, whether or not you eat mushrooms, you don't eat mushrooms. But I don't mess with mushrooms personally. Let's go ahead and leave those. Leave those in the I don't know pile. I don't tell people, you can't eat mushrooms, but I personally don't eat mushrooms. That's why I came up with the yummy chunks. And see, if the mandarins, sometimes you bite it, but these so small, they come from Chile, and the chances are these jokers don't have no seeds. So the mandarins don't have no seeds, leave that jink alone. Pineapples, they're not ready. Y'all know how to see if the pineapple is ready. If it comes out easily at the top, then it's ready. Right now, this thing is not even letting go, so it's nowhere near ready. You can buy it and put it down, but I'm gonna buy me some lime, because it's always good to squeeze them. Oh, let me see what a lemon is. Actually, no. To squeeze them in your in the morning time. Did I see lemons? Oh, they don't have any lemons. All right. Sorry. I'm gonna come look at the questions in a minute. I'm gonna start a little mini cleanse this week. Usually when I do the mini cleanse, then I just go green, like all things green, right? And that's the start of a mini cleanse. So they have spinach. You can cut up your cilantro, cut up your parsley, green onion, $4 for collard greens. The same thing that applies with the ginger, the garlic is the same thing I apply with the ginger. If the ginger is, this is great if you're cleansing too, right here. You just get a bunch of it, you cut it up, and you make a salad. So that's what I'm going to start getting ready for this week. And look at this, man. Come on now. Get the cilantro, y'all. $2 for $2 for 2 bunch of cilantro. All right, I'm going to roll up out of here. Oops. Yeah, this ginger right here is suspect too. They say it's from Brazil, but I don't know. One time I saw the brother taking it out of the China box. Because the same thing happens with the ginger. I'm going to check out of here. Hold on 1 second. Hello. You can go ahead. Sorry. Sometimes you do feel like a crunch. You see? You feel like a crunch. It better be something real simple up in there. It's plantain, palm oil, and salt. That's it. You can crunch now. The garlic won't be doing too much. I don't want no garlic. I just want the regular one. I'm just going to go with the regular one. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Give me the tomato, please.
Somebody left that.
Thank you.
You guys not so busy today. Busy today.
No, actually,
Not at all. I thought you was gonna be a little busy.
no, actually.
Not at all. I thought you was gonna be a little busy.
Usually it starts slow in the day and then
Picks up.
normal. And then that's a normal day. But today, like, it's a
I think they may be at like the mall or
That's what
Walmart
I've
or
been
something.
saying. Like, everyone's at Target, Walmart.
Yeah. They
mall.
trying to get them sales.
Yes, ma'am.
It was weird. I was like, what? I could pick any parking space I want.
You mean I'm right across from
Yeah. That's weird. But it's all good. It happens.
the mall.
You guys get a break. How was it before though?
What do you mean?
But like before we went.
It was like a crazy ass. It's like, I was like, okay, so maybe since it's so crazy, and I was like,
That's 5.
5. Okay.
All right.
What time is it?
6:15. Me, when I almost
1:25.
supposed to go home 1:45. What time is it? 4?
Después allá no hay.
Why?
All right. Thank you. You have a good day. Yup. Y'all came shopping. Woohoo. Hopefully I shared something that, sometimes I think about it when I see it. So y'all tell me, guess how much we spent. We spent about 20 minutes up in that GZ. I'm going to show you all the bags. Hold on. Let me open the door. If I'd have went to the regular supermarket, it wouldn't have been that. Hold on. I'm going to put you on top of the car. All right. So all of that, yeah, saw the stuff I picked up. And can we guess what the grand total was? The grand total was $22.38. Hey LF, give thanks for the shout out. Thanks for the support. $22.38 at the supermarket. And we say that we can't afford to, we just have to know how to be savvy. Once again, thanks to LF, he Slapbox. He supported the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel monetarily. So that is what not even $24, not $25. If you buy a lot of prepackaged food, therein lies the problem where all your money is going. Now, I'm not gonna say that people don't have prepackaged food here and there, but you all bundled up. Right now, we at 77 degrees. This is why you gotta love Florida, boy. 70. I talked to my grandmother up north in New York this morning. She's like, "Is that gonna snow?" I'm like, "Oh man, girl, that's where we at right now." And it's 4:17 in the afternoon. It's a nice day. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's a nice day. So, yeah, any questions? The ginger and the garlic, I don't mess with them from China. They said, I was doing some study. They said when the garlic is clean, like when they're grown regionally, you will see the little hairs or the roots. Some of the root system still intact on the top of the garlic. When they import the garlic, because they don't want to transfer any bugs or whatever, then they have to make sure that it's stripped clean. Usually when you see a lot of garlic for cheap, it's coming from China. Like the one I buy at the other supermarket is like $3.99 a pound, right? This one here, you seen the prices on it. And so when it went, and I bought it a number of times when I didn't know, and you would see it sprouting green. You would see when you cut inside of it, it looks a little sus. So is with the ginger. You saw those huge big gingers. You're like, ooh, it's watery. Like you, right? But that ginger, the one that seems to come from China, is very watery, and it's big, but it doesn't have any punch. Like for instance, when the babies picked up a little cold the other day because of the changing of the weather, I would get ginger and just let them chew on the raw ginger. But if I was to do that with this ginger, nothing would happen. You know what I mean? Because this ginger doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. So that's the ginger. The onion, that I would here and there get an onion from there, but there's some things that I only buy from some places. Yeah, you saw due process. You purchased that one before, so I should be able to see the hairs on the ginger. No, on the garlic. You know the back part of the garlic where the roots grow out of? You should be able to see those if they are grown locally. Sometimes they're getting the garlic from South America. Anytime you go to the supermarket, you look where they're supposed to tell you now where the fruit is grown, where you're getting it from. They're supposed to tell you. And only thing I saw that one time when the guy was unpacking, you know, at the end of the night, they pack and unpack. One day I was up in there and it says like garlic from, ginger from Chile, right? And then I'm looking at the drink coming out the China box. I was like, oh man, y'all tripping. I'm not buying that ginger. I was like, what? You just accidentally put it in the China box? So yeah, I would say, you want to save some money on some stuff? Buy dried beans. Soak your dried beans. If you're trying to get in protein through beans or legumes, buy it dried, soak them overnight, boil them in the morning or in the afternoon. Chickpeas especially, you know, you can eat cold because you can make things like chickpea salad. You can make things like that. You can make it taste like tuna fish, something we do at the shop, or you could make it taste like chicken salad. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that you can do with the tuna. There's a lot of stuff you can do with lentils. You can do a whole thing of lentils like I just bought, and if it's you or if it's your whole family, everybody could eat one night. Or you can make a big pot and put it in the fridge, and then you eat the next night off of it. Lentils in tacos. Instead of, you don't want any meat or you want to take a break off them, whatever the case may be, you can season the lentils, you can put salsa on it, this, that, and the third, and put it in your tacos. Lentil tacos. I'm gonna read y'all comments in a minute. What else? So usually when I go to the supermarket, that's one of the places, based on what we do at the Yummy, we stay at the market, you know, seeing what products are. When my mother bought the other thing from Walmart, she was like, oh, I read the ingredients. I'm like, L-cysteine? Nah. So then I told her I'll come out here and get it for her because she really wants to make these wrappers. And of course, she's going to be like, this small. The usual big one is kind of like this big. But because they just came off of a holiday, they probably out, you know. So she's just going to have to make them small today. What else? So you can make your own egg roll, but it's egg free. So you can make your own spring roll wrappers. You can air fry them too if you have an air fryer, or you can bake them. When they bake them, they kind of get hard. But a little oil, take a brush and just brush a little oil on the top and the bottom. And then it should be able to do what it does. Because you don't want it to be like dry, ashy air fry. So that's the way I deal with that. Let me see what else. So yeah, that was a good shopping little trip. It was impromptu. That's a lot of stuff I do when I don't have time. Y'all just roll how Muna rolls. Impromptu. Make your own juice. It's easier than you think, especially if you have a lot of children. You know what I mean? They'll love it. Because you buy juice, and imagine you buy 1 carton. If you're buying a good juice, not no Hawaiian punch juice. If you're buying a decent juice, it's going to run you something. 2 Tuesday, drink off the juice, boom, it done. It ain't going to happen. And when you make your own juice, then you can gauge how much sugar goes into the juice. If not, then you're going to have to water down the juice, you know, on the back end. But on the front end, if you make your own, then you know exactly what's going in the juice. Do we sometimes buy store-bought? Yes. Do we make our own? Yes, it goes further. And because I make juice for the shop, they love when I make the juice. You know what I mean? So these are a lot of stuff that we used to do that we don't do anymore. And if we just go back to some of the stuff, because people say, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You have to make time because everybody got the same amount of hours in a day. So if it's something that's important to you, then you're going to make the time to do it. It's not like, you know, did you get 24? I get 24. Everybody gets 24. Hold on, I'm sorry. I put the thing in your eye, but the sun is in my eye. Hold on 1 second. How's everybody doing today? So yeah, Elif, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look at the scripture today. That's gonna be my Shabbat day study. I love when I have a Shabbat day study before me, because I'll be like, yeah, this is gonna be a good one. You know, I pull out all. Well, I don't have all my books with me, but you know, I still could get in because there's a lot of online resources that I can use. I'm not catching no red lights to look at your texts, so we just gonna keep riding. So anyway, let me tell you about the preliminary cleanse. Anytime you feel your system getting a little sluggish, especially like now after people, hummus, look, one day, it's on my, one of my social medias, the other one, Instagram, right? So we did the regular hummus, and then we did roasted beef. That thing was crazy. And then I did a green hummus. What was that? I did an orange one. So I did one with roasted carrots, and the other one was roasted beets, and I think one of them was like cilantro based. Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. As my daughter would say, it's so good. What about the ginger? How do I know if the ginger is legit? Just lately, you know, so to some degree, you trust them, and they say, sometimes if you trust the producer and they say this is where it's made from, then yeah. If the ginger is like overly huge, and when you cut it, there's like a green hue to it, then that means they've been spraying it with some stuff. And it's the same thing with the garlic, you know what I mean? And to some extent, to the onions as well. But the ginger, I find like those big ones, normal people will be like, oh, they're so big, let me go towards it, let me get it. Anytime I see it that big, it's questionable for me, just by my experience. Yeah, chickpea patties. Oh, you and your mom making chickpea? Yeah, them chickpea patties is boss. If y'all not up on that chickpea, boy. I learned from my doctor not to fall for just any organic label. There are like 5 levels, but official organic must also be accompanied by a USDA stamp. And that's the thing. The organic label is easy for people to be like, oh, it's organic. But organic also could be suspect too, because you have some farmers that cannot afford, although it is organic, they cannot afford the process, the license, get the organic label. Organic, but they can't put it's organic on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So some smaller growers have organic food that they can't call organic because they captured the organic market. It's really weird and crazy out here. You know what I mean? And so, because when you go to look at the organic, sometimes when they say it's organic grapes, organic seedless grapes. So they're playing with the term organic is what I'm saying. They're playing with it now that they know, like, that's what the people are looking for to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that thing. You know, it's just like the kosher label. Your food can be kosher, but unless you pay the licensing to get the kosher label, then you can't put on it as kosher. That's a whole nother level to this, man. I wish I knew the importance of good nutritional practices long beforehand. Yeah, it's never too late. I agree. Our bodies, they can bounce back. I agree. I love your body has built in it the intelligence to heal itself. You have to just give it the things that it needs. And if it's been a long time, then you move through the process slow, because that's what I found over the years, that education is very important, because there's so much stuff that has been accumulated over time. You can't just go in there and like flip it all over. You know what I mean? because some people, like I'm learning, like I tell people, eat greens. And then some people be like, oh, Moon, I can't eat greens. I'm allergic to greens. And then, I'm outside and the lady's telling me, oh, I'm allergic to everything. I'm like, what? All I can eat is Brussels sprouts. I can't eat any legumes. I can't eat any beans. I can't eat any greens. I'm like, so people have different issues that have developed, or allergies that have developed based on whatever it is their lifestyle was or their body types. So you kind of have to know your body. Like, I can eat greens. Somebody else who has something else going on with them may not be able to eat a lot of greens. Some people can't digest beans. Some people, you know what I mean? So you have to know you, and then you have to know whether or not that intolerance is based on the diet that you had prior to you trying to change. You know what I mean? If the intolerance was based on something that's prior, then you have to deal with the underlying issues. But for the most part, for those who can take greens, if you come to, because even if you're eating clean and you're eating, not a lot of meat and things, every now and then your body needs like a reset. So then the rule of thumb for me is just when you're resetting, you take your citrus water in the morning, like apple cider vinegar, and you tip it in your water, you drink that. And then you just take out all of the starches, not for no long, crazy, extended period of time, just for research, all of the starches, all of the sugars, including rice, potatoes, beans, all of that. And then you just eat green. And purging green, like mustard greens, and like you saw me buy dandelions. You can eat garlic and ginger, things that's going to move through any toxins through your organs and through your bodies. Is going to help to flush and cleanse you. You know what I mean? Your green smoothies, things of this nature. And you do that for a week or two, and then see how you feel. It is a world of difference. It's a world of difference, because I think we're overfeeding our bodies. I'm actually in the middle of watching a documentary right now that is something that I've said in times past, but to see a documentary talking about it, I think it's called Food Fight. I can't remember because it's on the phone. But they talk about food shifting from nurturing and to industrialize and money making. And that shift compromises the food, the integrity of the people, because now you're not thinking about when your mother's in the kitchen or your family is in the kitchen, somebody who loves you and is willing to put forth the effort and the energy into this food and the love to give you something that's going to sustain your body. That's very different than somebody saying, I can make money off of the fact that you need to eat. Solely. Not that I need to nourish you, not that I give a rat's behind about you. They're saying I can make money if I sell this to you. That energy is what the food industry comes with. That means it doesn't matter what they put in, like the documentary that I was showing you guys yesterday, I think, yesterday, I think. The Absolute History documentary about the Victorian era in England and the way they adulterated the food. And that's still happening. If you look at the permissible chemicals that's allowed, FDA allowed, the list is crazy, exhaustive, crazy. Just look it up. FDA allowed chemicals, stuff like bug intestine, the cochineal that's in like ocean spray that gives it a certain color, that gives that red color. It comes from a bug, a beetle. They crush it, they put it in your food. The artificial flavors and the artificial colors and the red, the dyes, and it's like, what in the world? What is this doing in the food? What is this doing in the food? Who put this in the food? I got questions. I'm very passionate about this here topic. Like, I told my children, like, you cannot say, like, your mother goes hard in the paint to make sure that when I hand you over this baton, I let you know the things that you need to do. So when we growing up, your parents is moving and you go to the corner store. Back in the day, $1 buy 4 bags of chips. Y'all remember that? When $1 used to buy 4 bags of chips, it was 4 of us. So when we was be like, "Oh, Daddy, can we have $1?" Don't mess around and give us 2. Don't mess around. He mess around and give us $2. It's a wrap, yo. You balling out. You know them shows where they got the money in it? We balling, because you could get a bag of chips. You could get a 5-cent gum, bubble gum. You could get some annihilators. You over there doing your thing. Say I'm lying. You over there doing, you getting some sour powers. That's what I used to eat back in the day. I didn't know. You getting sour powers, annihilators. Yo, let me get some cheese doodles. Them little heart-stopping pies that they used to have in the corner stores in New York. I didn't too like the quarter waters though. Quarter water is straight up poison. And I think what's the new one they have? Fantasy. That's the level up from the quarter water. The Fantasy, the one in New York where it just looked like just some straight blue dye. I think it's Fantasy. What's the name of it? I'm like, what is this? What is this? But, you know, today, one bag of chips is like $1.99. You're like, where y'all live at? But I say that to say, you know, when you don't know, and then when you do know and you look back and be like, yo, I used to like Cheetos? What in the world? I used to like Funyuns? What is this? This is not food. It's not food. It's like I like to tell the babies, it's food's cousin. You know what I mean? It's not food, it's food's cousin. It's 4:35. I'm gonna read y'all comments and then I'm gonna run in here. Woohoo. Y'all see I didn't go around the corner for this stuff. I went all the way around the corner, up the block, across, all the way on the other side of town, literally on the other side of town. Just so I wouldn't be eating no L-cysteine and feeding it to my babies. Alright, y'all. Hold on. Some of the byproducts that they're putting in the food are like byproducts of certain industries, and they're looking to dump these chemicals. Like for instance, aspartame. It was if I'm not mistaken, I've been a little rusty on my stuff, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a neurotoxin. Aspartame, y'all don't get me started, y'all. Let me see your comments before I roll here. Okay. Ella said, I'm a truck driver and I've been to facilities where they package produce and I've seen them divide the same fruits. Ooh. He's saying the same fruits into organic and regular packages. We might have to come back and have that conversation. Gangsta. I read the Monsanto Corp has been purchasing the seed companies. They're trying to kill us. The government has been after home gardeners as well, regulating the food they grow. You know, Monsanto is coming from, it started off as a chemical company. And if you do the history and research on it, starting from slavery, I think they were in like either Louisiana, some Midwest state. Monsanto family, it goes back to slavery, that very name. And they were a chemical company that crossed over into the food industry. Thanks, I'm going to go for it. I've been making baby steps. Almond milk, yep. But now I hear big carbs are after them too. Yeah, I mean, almond milk, you can make almond milk. Like I said, I have an old video on how to make oat milk. A lot of this stuff you can make. No problem. You know what happened that I was watching was happening in India? At first, they tried to trick them, like, you have a bigger increase, you have a bigger yield. And what happened is that a lot of the Indian farmers went into debt, messing around with these seed producers, because if they bought, would have to buy the fertilizer from these chemical companies because the seed wouldn't do it anywhere else. Like, they had to come together. And so now, now they started waking up and saying, no, we want to go back to what we were doing and like basically get out of our country. Because when a lot of farmers put their last into it, some of them were taking their own lives because they were so much in debt. You know what I mean? And that was happening a couple of years ago. That was happening a couple of years ago in India. They have scientists working day and night to make junk food taste. Yep. I'm replying this to take notes. Always good information here. All right. Yeah, research Monsanto. I'm going to run inside. But research Monsanto. Monsanto goes back to slavery. It was actually a Jewish company. And they were a chemical company. And then they crossed over into the food industry. All right, everybody, we back in the bush, y'all. We back in the bush. Let me go up in here and do what I got to do so I can go ahead and react. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. You know, the randoms of Amuna. Like, is she a walking encyclopedia? Like, I store just weird things, but they're applicable to me, and I just share. So if you come and be like, why is sis over here? And then she's over there, and then she's talking about Black Friday. You never know what you're going to get. Because, you know, you never know. But once again, thank everybody for tuning in. Feel free to support the channel, share the information. We still out here doing this work as always. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Ooh. All right. Peace.